So there's not a ton of mechanics, but there are a few that you need to watch out for. Early on, there's very little that you need to care about all that much. Um, Kanon, what you're gonna do is right over here where I'm swimming. This is Thursday speaking, by the way. There's Dahuta's Pearl. Don't interact with it until we're ready to start the fight, because interacting with this will summon the boss.
Don't
You're
poke the pearl.
basically gonna stand over here, tanking the boss, facing towards me from the Pearl. The rest of us are all gonna be over on this side of the boss, so we're gonna be behind her. Um, every 30 seconds or so, there's gonna be one of several types of ads that are gonna spawn. The first type, which is probably the most dangerous, will spawn from this side. It's a bunch of sea bugs that will jump on either the tank or the healer. And the jump does like, I don't know, maybe 500 damage per bug, but there's like 10 of them, so it hurts because they all jump. So basically what's going to happen that is if the ads need to be focused no matter what. It doesn't matter what type of ads they are, basically, as soon as they spawn. No, they'll die quick. If it's the bugs that spawn, I want the archers to concussive arrow them. One or two concussives will kill them, and then if any, like if the majority of them jump to Kanon, but then like two of them jump to me, just kill the ones on Kanon, then kill the ones on me. The second type of mobs that spawn, which are totally not bad at all, are there will be two big lizard things that spawn over in this corner. And they'll just kind of walk over at you, and they'll start like blowing, like I guess like steam, water, something. I don't know. They blow like pressurized water at people, and they'll blow from like this far, like from as far away from as I am from Versailles. They'll start blowing here. If they get like a meter closer, you'll start to take damage. But if you're like at the full range of their ability, they won't walk towards you, and it actually won't even reach you. So it's, I mean, just you guys are all archers, so you can kite it really easy. The third one, which is also kind of annoying, will spawn back here, is just one big dude that will, after a few seconds after spawning, he will lasso everybody in the room over to him. When that happens, either backdrop or teleport or just run the fuck away from him, because after a few seconds he will freeze you, and that freeze lasts for like 20 seconds, and you literally cannot do anything. Somebody needs to purge you in order to get rid of it. So just get away from him and try to avoid that freeze. Yeah, just the moment you get, I mean, you'll see him because you're facing in this direction while you're tanking, so you can expect the lasso, and I'll also be calling out which ads spawn every time
You
they
can also
spawn.
CC him before he does the freeze, but you gotta be fast.
Yeah. But basically, just as soon as you get pulled, just immediately run back to the middle. It's especially important for you, Kanon, because while you're over here with us, Dahuta will still be standing in the middle, throwing AoEs in your direction, which will also hit us. So basically, as soon as you get pulled over, just run back to the middle, preferably on an outside, so that like we aren't in the middle of it. Once the big guy dies over here, he'll actually split off into four tiny guys, which only have like 2 or 3k health. They're not very strong, but they'll just like run in 4 different directions and then turn around and start shooting me with shit, or shooting a DPS with shit, and it can hurt if they're up for a while. So basically, kill the big guy and then focus the little guys. So that's the first wave, or the first phase. It lasts for, there's a time duration. If we don't have shitty DPS, like if our DPS is good, we should be below 60% before a phase transition. So we'll see how that goes. I'll kind of call out if the DPS is lacking or not. Oh, another thing to note is whenever the ads spawn, Dahuta will be standing like right here. She'll summon like a swirly whirlpool, like black and purple thing around her that'll do damage to anybody that's standing within melee range. Kanon, you're a defiler, so you can just kind of stand at range and cast Mana Stars or whatever when that's happening. So you don't need to worry too much about that. It's not very big. It's like 3-meter radius. She is ranged. So second phase, which you actually can DPS through, and this is the phase. The second phase happens after a set amount of time. If you get her below a threshold, like an HP threshold, you can actually completely skip the second phase. But assuming we get the second phase, because DPSing through is not common, she'll basically cast this geyser thing. She kind of makes like a hand animation as if she was casting Mend. I don't know if you guys off the top of your head know what Mend looks like when a healer's casting it, but I'll call out if a geyser's incoming. And what that'll do is it'll hit everybody in the room. It'll deal like 2,000 damage or whatever, and it'll knock you all up a couple feet and then stun you on the ground for 5 seconds. Normally this isn't an issue, but around that time there will also be another phase change where tidal waves will start spawning from this end of the room over where I'm at, and they'll make their way directly across the room to the opposite side of the room, and it's just a straight line. There's a couple of there's a couple different tidal waves, or a couple tidal waves every time that the waves come, and the areas that they'll be affected by, or that they will affect, are going to be denoted by like lines on the ground, so you'll see the AoE lines and you'll know to get out of them. Just imagine them, they're like columns. The columns that are completely clear are the safe ones. The columns that have a line going through them, like they'll be separated into like rows within that column, those are the ones that have the waves going through. If you get hit by the wave, it's a one-shot. There's no way to survive it, so just get out of the AoEs. Another thing worth noting, and this isn't super important, but just stay away from the far side of the room. This side of the room that I'm running towards, because they all kind of converge at this side as they wrap around. So even if you're in the supposed safe zone, they'll still hit you over here because they like converge from the sides towards the middle. Correct. I mean, Pyro, can you give me a heart?
What?
Give me,
okay.
mark me with a heart. For the first couple, I'll basically say like, just look for where the heart is. That I'll be standing in a safe column, so you can get an idea of which column is safe, which one is not. The last phase, which will be easily denotable by the fact that these blue gigantic wave walls around us will turn purple. She'll start casting fears on people. So that's the phase I'll call out when you need to start casting your anti-fears. And if you have courageous action, keep it on yourself 100% of the time. I don't know what the cooldown on intensity is, so I don't know. Or if that's a passive or what. I just know that people use it. She'll start channeling like beams on people, and while that beam is channeled on you, it will constantly fear you, and it will do small amounts of damage. I'm going to be Songcraft healing, so that damage will be negligible, and it will be healed up pretty much passively. She will also, around that phase, start making her own waves. So if she's facing in the direction that I'm facing, for example, she'll start like summoning a wave up underneath herself. You've got like 5 seconds to get out of the way, and then she'll just kind of whoosh forward on her wave in a straight line, depending on where she was facing when she started casting the wave, so just get out of the way. It's really easy. And then whenever she stops, she'll basically stop like over here, and you'll have to fight her, tanking her from this side, as opposed to the middle cannon. Ads will also spawn in that last phase. You guys can all completely ignore them. I will be kiting them around almost the entire fight. Because of that cannon, you may need to pot yourself a little bit towards the end. I haven't had any real issues with keeping tanks alive in that last phase, but I will be running all over the map, so there will be times where you're not going to be under the effect of my buff because I'll be too far away. But I'll do what I can to keep you alive. If you find yourself under 50%, don't be afraid to pop a pot. She will also, in that last phase, has very, very slow travel time. So you can run away from it for a while, but it will eventually catch you. And it's not usually an issue, it's just occasionally the bubble can hit you right as the waves are about to come and like drop you right into the wave and one-shot you, and it's just kind of like shitty RNG and there's not much you can do about it. I will be, assuming I'm not bubbled myself, running around mirror lighting people that get bubbled if it looks like you're going to get hit by a wave. Otherwise, suck it up and sit in the bubble. I think that is it, so I don't remember where we came into the dungeon from. I'm going to assume we came in over here. So, everybody come stand on heart. Yes.